el exec, el Vélez, el fenómeno que todos quieren ser, el chamaquito que no pueden entender.
How we doing, guys? Welcome to episode 146 of the Exec Talk Podcast. I'm your host, Elvis. How are we doing? Back at it with the shades. I know it's been a while since I've worn my shades, but we're back at it with them. We're back at it. It's still a little bit sick. Still got a little bit of phlegm in the throat. That's why my voice is not completely back yet. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Follow me on all my socials. Today, we are talking about, we're not only just predicting NCAA week 7 at this point, but I guess it's week 6 because they had a week 0. So I guess it's week 6, NFL week 6, and then baseball. But we're going to start with baseball. All right. Right now, it's Cleveland versus Tigers, game 4. Tigers leading 2-1. But let's get to where we at right now in the series. First, we go to Mets versus Phillies. Mets take game 3 at home versus the Phillies 6-2. Then the Padres take game 3 at home versus the Dodgers 5-6 in a thriller of epic proportions that was thriller for 3 innings because it was a home run by Tatis in the first 3 innings, home run by Tatis, and then grand slam by Teoscar, and that was it. That was the whole offense. The whole offense was literally, I'll tell you guys right now. The Mets beat the Phillies 7-2. Sean Manaea pitched a great game. He went, Manaea went 7 innings, allowed 3 hits, 1 earned, 6 Ks. Maton then came in, got 2/3 of an inning. He allowed a run on 1 hit. It was a home run. That didn't really matter, though, at the end of it all. And then Stanton closed it out. He went inning and a third, 1 hit, 0 earned. And the Mets took the lead in the series 2-1. Right? We go to the Dodgers Padres that same day. In San Diego, we get basically a Walker Buehler versus Yu Darvish matchup. Michael King, excuse me. So Michael King obviously has the advantage there. Walker Buehler hasn't been pitching his best this year, coming off the Tommy John. Shohei went 1 for 4, so struggled once again. No RBI, 1 run. The scoring was Betts homered in the first, top of the first, and then Bogarts grounded into a fielder's choice, but Machado scored. And that made it 1-1. That was in the bottom of the second. Also in the bottom of the second, David Peralta doubled to right, and Xander Bogaerts and Merrill scored, Jackson Merrill. And in the bottom of the second still, Higashioka hit a sacrifice fly. David Peralta scores. That's 4-1. Tatis homers to left center. Cronenworth scored, so a 2-run homer by Tatis. That's 6-1. And then in the top of the third, so the very next half of the inning, Teoscar homers to dead center, 403 feet. Grand slam, Pages, Ohtani, and Betts score 6-5, and that was the end of the game. Pitching duel to the end. Bullpens basically took care of everything. Some amazing plays by the Padres to save some runs by Jackson Merrill and stuff like that, but definitely the bullpens got it done. Okay, so that made it 2-1 Padres, right? We go to Wednesday. Tigers beat Cleveland 3-0 to take a 2-1 series lead. Riley Green single to center. Meadows scored. That was bottom of the first. Matt Vierling hits a sacrifice fly to left. That's 2-0. That's in the bottom of the third. And then Spencer Torkelson doubled to left, and Cole Keith scored. That was in the bottom of the sixth, 3-0. A masterful bullpen game by A.J. Hinch, starting with Guardians had Alex Cobb. He went 3 innings, 2 earned, 3 hits, 2 Ks. Didn't have his best outing. Everybody else kind of did their thing except Morgan. But for Detroit, it was very impressive to see, Cater Montero got the first inning. He got no hits, 0 earned. Herder went 3 innings and a third and got the win. He went 5 hits, but no earned runs. 1 walk, 1 K. Bo Brisky went 2 innings, no hits, no earns, 3 Ks. Gunther, whichever way you want to say it, he went a third of an inning, didn't allow anything. Will Vest went an inning and a third. He didn't allow anything. And then Tyler Holton finished it off, went the 9th inning, and he didn't allow anything. So a great bullpen game by the Detroit Tigers to take a 2-1 series lead against the division champion Guardians. Okay? They're playing right now as we speak. It's 1-0 Guardians. Bottom of the first. I think that Detroit can pull this game out if they keep the Guardians in check. If the Guardians get on a little roll and we see like Naylor and Fry and Ramirez and Kwan and Thomas, you see, and John Kenzie, and you see everybody starting to hit singles, steal bases, then, Detroit can get into trouble. But I believe that Detroit can do enough on offense to win and have enough on the arm side to win. If not, if they lose and it goes 2-2 and it goes back to Cleveland, no worries. They got Tarek Skubal for Game 5 on 5 days rest. Skubal's a win. Okay, I don't see Cleveland figuring out the best pitcher in baseball in one game. Winner take all. We go to Phillies Mets, Game 4. And the Mets close out the Phillies 4-1. It was a game where, the Phillies got the lead in the 4th inning, in the top of the 4th. Bohm grounded out to a fielder's choice. Harper scored on a fielding error by the third baseman, Mark Vientos. And then Castellanos safe at third. It was 1-0. It was 1-0 till all the way the bottom of the 6th, where Francisco Lindor, the captain, my Puerto Rican king, right? Puerto Rico, papi. Stand up. De pura cepa. My Puerto Rican king, Francisco Lindor, hits a 398-foot grand slam that sends Citi Field into a frenzy. And then from there, the pitching just kind of did their thing. They had Ranger Suarez. He went five hits, 0 earned, and 8 Ks. Really dominated for the Phillies. Hoffman allowed 3 runs, and then Estevez allowed a run. And then they had Kerkering and Strahm. But after that, the damage was done. For the Mets, a very surprising pitcher that did really well, Jose Quintana. A guy that, throughout the season didn't do that well. But in his last few starts, he's been doing well. And he went 5 innings, only allowed 2 hits, had 6 Ks. Then came Reed Garrett. He had 2 Ks, no earned, no hits. Peterson came in. He had 2 hits, but allowed nothing. And then Edwin Diaz comes into the 9th, and he is wild. Okay, when I'm telling you wild, he walks 2 people. He throws like 9 balls in a row. They go out there to mound visit him. There's, I believe, it's a first and second with no outs. And Sugar, my other Puerto Rican king, steps up and throws his hardest ball of the season at 101 to strike out Kyle Schwarber and finish the series. The Mets go from one of the worst teams in baseball early June or late May, 10 behind, couldn't get nothing going. Lindor was having another bad season. Pete wasn't hitting. The pitching was off, especially because they had no Kodai Senga. And they've been the best baseball team record-wise since June started. June 7th, June 10th, around there. And now they're going to the National League Series. They clinch a National League Series berth for the first time in 24 years at home. First time in that building, Citi Field. And all on the back of their captain, Francisco Lindor. That they got from the Guardians in a massive deal when Cohen said, I'm rebuilding this team and I'm going to pay everything I can to try to get me a championship. He was the first piece. He's the franchise. He's the superstar. He's the MVP. MVP candidate, the MVP Shohei. But the MVP candidate, he's your MVP caliber player. And he does that. Nonchalantly, too. Hits the ball. No hoorah, no hoopla. Just rounds the bases like a professional. You know? Ever since he came up into the leadoff spot, he's been going off crazy. For the Phillies, another year. Another year of stepping back. From World Series in 2022 to losing to the Astros, to the National League Championship Series, the NLCS last year, to lose against Arizona, to now this year you lose against the Braves in the divisional round. Does that mean you have to blow up the team? No. Everybody's paid. Everybody from Schwarber to Harper to Trey to Castellanos to Realmuto, Bohm, Steer, everybody's paid. Pitching's paid. Zach Wheeler, Aaron Nola, they're all paid. Ranger Suarez. What you guys need to do is hit the ball. You came into this series, I think, a little too tight. You didn't play Phillies baseball, and I think it cost you. Okay? So you got to go back to the drawing board a little bit, but I think you'll be back. Division champions. One of the best teams in baseball. Knocked out in the divisional series. We go to Yankees-Royals. Okay? We go to Yankees-Royals. And basically, Yankees win Game 3 on a Giancarlo Stanton home run in the top of the 8th. The game was 2-2. Two good pitch games. One by Seth Lugo. The other one by, I'll tell you guys right now. Clark Schmidt. He went 4 2/3. 4 hits, 2 earned, 4 Ks. Everybody else shut everybody else down. Holmes, Canley, and Weaver. And then Lugo went 5 innings, 2 hits, 2 earned, 2 Ks, 4 walks. Serpa didn't allow nothing. Bubic was the one that allowed the home run. But what I'm more surprised about with the Royals is that they were the number 1 run scoring team in the majors this year. And they went a total of Michael Massey, 1 for 4. Bobby Witt Jr., 1 for 3 and has struggled the whole series. Vinny Pasquantino, 0 for 3. Salvi Perez, 1 for 4. Yuli Gurriel, 1 for 4. Melendez, 0 for 4. Michael, 0 for 4. Adam Frazier, 1 for 3. Tommy Pham, 0 for 1. Kyle Isbell, 1 for 2. Stanton doubled the center. He accounted for all the runs for the Yankees. He doubled the center in the top of the 4th. He made it 1-0. Soto hits a sacrifice fly to make it 2-0. And then Isbell doubles to left, makes it 2-1 in the bottom of the fifth. Also in the bottom of the fifth, Michael Massey triples to left, makes it 2-2. And then Stanton launches a 417-foot home run in the top of the eighth to 3-1, and Weaver closes it out. With that, the Royals are in elimination mode. Now today, they don't have a Cole Reagans going. Today they have Michael Walker. I believe they won the last time they sent Michael Walker against the Orioles. Let me see right quick. No, that's Cole Reagans. I believe it was game. Who they send out? Serpa, yeah, but who? Lugo. I think Walker went game 1 then. Okay, so Walker went game 1. He went 4 innings, 4 hits, 3 earned. Didn't have a good day in game 1. So he goes today with KC in elimination mode. Okay, Bobby Witt has to show up at this point. I don't know what's wrong with the big bats. Judge, Soto, Bobby Witt, Pasquantino, Salvi Perez, Jazz. Yeah, nobody's hit except Giancarlo. Giancarlo in the playoffs has the second lowest at bat per home run in the history of postseason baseball. The only guy higher than him, he's at a 9.1. The only one higher than him is Babe Ruth at an 8.6 at bats per home run. Giancarlo's at a 9.1. He has 12 postseason home runs and 109 at bats. That's insane. Okay, for a guy that people say, oh, he just swings at everything. Oh, he's slow. He's not athletic. He just won the Yankees a game to possibly send them to the ALCS if they win today. Okay. Now, then we go to the Dodgers Padres. Dodgers facing elimination. And they destroy the Padres 8-0, starting with a Mookie Betts top of the first home run, 403 feet, 1-0. Ohtani singles in the top of the second. RBI single, 2-0. Betts singles again in the top of the second, 3-0. Will Smith homers, 432 feet, the longest home run in the postseason by anybody of any team, 5-0. Edmonds sacrificed to the pitcher. Muncy scored. Smith to second, 6-0. That was the top of the seventh. And then Gavin Lux homered 369 feet to make it 8-0 in a complete bullpen game from Ryan Brazier, Anthony Banda, Michael Kopech, Anthony Vesia, Evan Phillips, Daniel Hudson, Blake Trinan, and Landon Knack. A shutout bullpen game when they needed it the most on the road. They play tomorrow. 2-2 in Los Angeles to determine who's going to face the Mets in the NLCS. Today, we have Guardians-Tigers. Top of the second, Guardians are up 1-0. And then after that, we have Yankees-Royals. In KC facing elimination. Yankees are favored. They're throwing Garrett Cole out on the mound, the Cy Young winner from last year. KC's throwing out Michael Walker. We'll see what happens. It's on the Yankees' favor right now because of Garrett Cole. But I don't know. It's in KC. There might be some magic left. All right, time to get to NCAA. Tomorrow, Utah faces Arizona State. Number 16, Utah. We're going to go with Utah. Alabama, South Carolina. We're going with Bama. Clemson, Wake Forest. Clemson, number 10 team in the nation. Remember when they lost to LSU the first week? We thought that they were done potentially. Dabo rallied the boys back up. They're 10th in the nation, 4-1. They're going to beat Wake Forest at Wake Forest. Missouri, coming off that loss against Texas A&M against UMass. They win. The Red River rivalry, Texas versus Oklahoma, 5-1 versus 4-1, number 1 versus 18. Quinn Ewers back from the oblique injury. I think Texas is too much. The spread is minus 14.5. Pretty big considering Oklahoma has won out of the last 5, Oklahoma's won 4. And, Texas is coming back with Quinn Ewers the first. Yeah, I think Texas is the number 1 team in the nation, obviously, regardless if it's Quinn Ewers or Archie Manning. So I'm going to go with Texas here, and I don't think it'd be particularly close, but Brent Venables could make that defense do something. Who knows? I think he's starting the true freshman at quarterback, so I don't think that's going to go very well for Oklahoma. Penn State, USC in California at the Coliseum. I think I'm going to go Drew Adler and Penn State. I believe in this team. I told you they were 4th in the nation. Texas, Ohio State, Penn State. That's literally what I said last episode. That's where they got them at. They got them 4. Okay? I give them the better for the doubt on the road. Big Ten matchup. I got Penn State. Stanford, Notre Dame. We got Notre Dame. Pitt versus Cal. We got Pitt. Illinois, Purdue. We got Illinois. BYU, Arizona. We got 5-0 BYU. Georgia, Mississippi State. I got Georgia. Florida versus number 8 Tennessee in Rocky Top. We're going to get smacked. I think Nico's going to throw the ball over the yard. I love my Florida Gators, but against this team and against this offense, I frankly think we're not doing anything. So I think Tennessee wins that. Ohio State number 2 versus number 3 Oregon. Sorry, not number 3. Oregon number 3. In Eugene. Sorry, I had to swallow there. In Eugene. I'm going to go Ohio State. I think Ohio State has probably the second best roster in the country behind Texas. I believe they have the better quarterback. Although, I like Dylan Gabriel, and I've liked him for a while ever since he was at UCF, but I think they have the better quarterback in Will Howard. Definitely have the better running backs in Trayvon Henderson and in Quinshon Judkins. And then Jeremiah Smith is top 3 receiver in the world, in the country. So I'm going to go Ohio State on the road to beat Oregon. Okay? Ole Miss, LSU in Death Valley. Nussmeier versus Jackson Dart. Number 9 versus number 13 in a game where this will probably determine who gets the at-large bid for the SEC after most likely Texas and Bama go to the SEC championship, if not Georgia. So one of those at-large bids for those 12 teams, after the first 5 teams, the first conference champions, which I think Texas or Georgia or Bama will be the conference champion out of the SEC. There will be like maybe 2 or 3 SEC teams going, and I think this game has something to do with it. I am going to go LSU because they're at home. I like Jackson Dart, but I like LSU. I'm going to go LSU, number 13 LSU, to upset Ole Miss because their LSU is at Death Valley. Go Iowa State, number 11 Iowa State, 5-0, going to Morgantown, West Virginia. Pat McAfee's house. On prime time Saturday on Fox, I'm going to go Iowa State. I just think the Cyclones have too much. And we go Kansas State versus Colorado, 4-1 for bragging rights at the Big 12. If Colorado beats Kansas State, Colorado is ranked once again, whether it's like 21 or something like that. Because Kansas State's 18, so they probably go to like 23 or 21, highest 21 most likely. I'm going to go Colorado. I believe in what they've been doing the last few games, especially the last game with the running. They just coming off a bye. I believe in Colorado. I believe in Travis Hunter. I believe in Shadur Sanders. I believe in prime time. And they're at home. It's going to be in Boulder. I got Colorado. And then finally, Boise State, Hawaii. Ashton Genty's going to have another great game. And Boise State's going to roll. All right, now let's get to the NFL because I got some takes. Okay? Let's start off with tonight, 49ers Seahawks in Seattle. Listen, I'm going to be very honest with you guys. No CMC. All I see is there's still a Trent Williams. There's still Brandon Ayuk. He had his breakout game last week with over 130 yards receiving. You still got Juwan Jennings. You still got George Kittle. And you still got Nick Bosa, Fred Warner. No Talanoa Hufanga. Understandable. You still got Lindor. No Greenlaw. Understood. But I think if the 49ers lose this game, we have a lot of questions. We have a lot of what is happening over there. Okay? I don't think it's like this 49ers team to lose this game. Now, if we look at both sides have great wide receivers. DK, JSN, you got Lockett. And then, on the other side, you got Ayuk and George Kittle and Juwan Jennings. And Debo's still there. So, it's Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet versus Jordan Mason. Jordan Mason's leading the league, second in the league in rushing behind Derrick Henry. So I believe even on the road, I think San Francisco bounces back. I think their defense bounces back. And I believe San Francisco wins this game. I don't think it'll be running away. I think it'll be a close game. And if Seattle wins, I wouldn't be surprised, but it'd be a very surprising thing to see San Francisco at 2-4, Seattle at 4-2 in the NFC West. That'd be very weird after the last, 6-7 years of what we watched. So I'm going to go with San Francisco because, one, I believe in Brock Purdy. I believe in Kyle Shanahan. And two, there is no way that this team wants to go to the Super Bowl and win a Super Bowl after last year and start the year 2-4. I just don't see it happening. The NFC is more stacked than we thought. So I'm going to go San Francisco here, okay? Jaguars, Bears. Very interesting matchup. It's in Chicago. I'm going to go Bears, and I'll tell you why. Not because I don't think that the Jaguars can win, because Trayvon Walker got 3 sacks last week, and I think he's working into his own in his third season after being a number 1 pick. Also, I think Brian Thomas is developing into Trevor's number 1 target, and I think it's basically uncoverable. Although they have Tyreek Stevenson and they have Jalen Johnson. On the other side, it's going to be a little tougher. You got to cover DJ Moore, you got to cover Keenan Allen, and you got to cover Roman Dunze. And then if DeAndre Swift gets going, you got to defend the run. I'm going to go with the Bears. I'm going to go with the Bears because I believe what Caleb Williams is doing and how he's developing. Okay, I believe that he is progressing more. He is reading through his progressions. I like what I'm seeing from the kid. The specialness is there, but the more routine plays are starting to become more common. Okay, this offense is really starting to become a real offense. So I'm going to go with the Bears at home. Okay? Right now, the Bears are predicted 59% winners. If the Bears win, they would be 4-2. That would be very, 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 very surprising from what everybody thought. Now 1-5 for Jacksonville. We got some problems, but I think Caleb could get it done. So I'm gonna go with Chicago. Let me write. I gotta write these down because sometimes I don't write them down and then I forget. So I'm gonna write these down. We went 49ers. Then we went. Oh no! And then we went Bears. Okay. All right. Next, Texans Patriots. This is Texans. Listen, you don't even have to you don't have to watch this game. I'm gonna watch it. Well, you know why? Because I watch Red Zone. Okay, that's why I'm gonna watch this game. And probably all I'm gonna watch is a bunch of touchdowns by the Texans. I don't expect any offense from the Patriots. I don't expect any non-running for your life snaps for Drake May. I believe that they're truly setting up this kid for failure. This is coaching malpractice, and we're going to see it in full display. Texans by like 45, okay? Not necessarily, but I think they win handily. And it's in Foxborough, so it's going to be a lot of booing. Commanders, Ravens, the game that everybody has been looking forward to this whole week. Everybody's been breaking this down. It's time for El Velez to break it down. Listen, this is going to be a Ravens win. Now, the Ravens defense has not shown to be very good in the last couple of weeks, especially last week to Joe Burrow. I am not saying that Jaden Daniels cannot score on this defense. What I'm saying is vice versa. On the other side, what you got to deal with is a Lamar that is playing at an MVP level and an MVP level Derrick Henry. I think that what that's going to do, it's going to force Dan Quinn to leave the box tight, leave it full. And that's going to be able for Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman and Isaiah Likely to hit your edges, hit your boundaries. Okay, and I think Lamar's going to do, he's going to pass the ball well. It's in Baltimore. Hostile environment. Not that it's going to affect the kid. I love Jaden Daniels. I love what I've seen. It's what I saw at LSU. It's what I thought he would be. Poised. Not bothered by anything. Elite talent at the arm. Elite talent with the legs. First matchup, I believe since 1963 or something like that, that both quarterbacks come in averaging more than 60 yards rushing. That shit might have been Frank Tarkenton and, I don't know, Randall Cunningham maybe. It might have been 1973, something like that. But I think the Ravens are the better team overall, and I think that that's who's going to win the game. Now, can it be a close game? Absolutely. This could be a Justin Tucker field goal game, but it could also be a couple touchdowns. But I'm going to go with the Ravens there. I love the Commanders, but I'm going to go with the Ravens there. Browns, Eagles. Oh, boy. Well, A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith seem like they're going to play. So automatically we go to the Eagles, right? The only thing we have to worry about is an Eagles lull. Now, I don't think that an Eagles lull is going to happen because Saquon, especially coming off the bye, that would be very embarrassing. I think Saquon Barkley is going to run the ball relatively well, although that defensive line is pretty good. And I think they're going to pass the ball relatively well, considering what Jaden Daniels did to that defense last week. Now, I don't think Jalen Hurts is as good of a passer as Jaden Daniels, and I know that Jaden Daniels is a rookie, but he's just a better passer than Jalen Hurts, if I'm being honest. But at the same time, if Terry McLaurin and De'Ami Brown could cook this defense, A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith should be able to destroy this defense. So I'm going to go with the Eagles. Plus that Browns offensive line and offense is just god awful. Okay, so All right. Cardinals, Packers. Very, very interesting. By the way, in tonight's game, no Rick Woolen and no Byron Murphy. That just plays into the fact that Jordan Mason's going to run the ball and Brock Purdy's going to have time to throw. This is a very interesting game. I like Arizona. It's in Green Bay. Green Bay has a 61.7% chance to win. Kyler Murray versus Jordan Love. See, if I have to pick between the quarterbacks, I pick Kyler Murray because I think he's more talented. But between both teams, I'm going to go Green Bay. Not because they're at home, but just because when you look at the weaponry on each side, you got Marvin Harrison Jr. and Trey McBride and nothing else. And James Conner. On the other side, you got Jaden Reed. You got Josh Jacobs, Musgrove, Tucker Kraft, and then the auxiliary pieces, your Dontavian Wicks. I don't know if Romeo Dobbs is going to play this week from the suspension. He probably will. You still have, actually, no, Christian Watson's hurt. So I believe Jaden Reed is going to have a good game. Okay? Against that Cardinals secondary. Then we have Buccaneers Saints. Another interesting matchup. Division rivals. A game that always turns out to be a shootout. During the Brady years, the Jameis Winston years, the Drew Brees years, they were always shootouts, always close games. It's in the Superdome. No Derek Carr. Spencer Rattler is starting. Because of that, I'm going to go Tampa Bay. I just think the continuity of having Baker Mayfield, Mike Evans, Godwin, and the defense of Yaya Diaby and Vita Vea, I just think that it's just better than the Saints with just a rookie Spencer Rattler, who all we've seen is a couple of throws in the preseason. Now, I'm not saying the guy's going to be bad. I'm just saying that Tampa Bay, 1, is a tough matchup on defense, and 2, no Charvarius Ward for the 49ers. So that means DK doesn't have a number 1 corner on him. That's interesting. Still going 49ers, though, because I still think that not having Byron Murphy and Rick Woolen is a little bit worse. I'm going to go Tampa Bay. Colts Titans. Oh, boy. Well, I've seen both of these offenses. Indy's offense, Anthony Richardson is playing this week. He was a full participant in practice, I believe. So, against Will Levis. We're going Indianapolis here, even though it's in Nashville. We're going Indianapolis. I do believe that the Titans' D-line is underrated, but I just think Indy has too much for him. JT is not going to play, but I still think that Indy has too much for him. I'm going to go Indy. Chargers, Broncos. Justin Herbert versus a top 5 defense, and Bo Nix versus Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack. Now, is Joey playing? I'm going to check that right now because that is a big... If it's just Khalil Mack, then, it's a different story. But if Joey's playing, let's see. TNP. Did not practice Wednesday. He's questionable. Okay. It's in Denver. They say the Chargers have a 54.4% chance to win. I like this Denver defense. I like Nick Bonito. Of course, I like PS2. I love Riley Moss on the other side. PJ Locke. But I like J.K. Dobbins. I like Glad McConkey. And I love Justin Herbert. Just because of experience, I'm going to go Chargers. I'm going to go hardball. I'm going to go hard-nosed, run down your throat football. Although Denver's the same way. I mean, that's how Sean Payton kind of builds his teams, although he likes to pass a lot. But I'm going to go Chargers here on the road in a division game in the AFC West against Denver to go to 3-2. Steelers Raiders. With Aiden O'Connell as starting quarterback and no Devontae Adams. Also, no Christian Wilkins because of the Jones fracture in his foot. So I'm going to go Steelers here. Supposedly, Russell Wilson, full participant in practice. Now, is he going to be like the starting quarterback? We don't know yet. So far, it's going to be Justin Fields. But we don't know yet. I'm going to go Steelers. I just think the Steelers defense is just going to destroy this Raiders offense in every which sense of the word. Okay? Even with Aiden O'Connell, maybe bringing some new blood or everything. No Devontae Smith, no Devontae Adams. You are hoping and praying that Brock Bowers and Jacoby Myers and Alexander Madison could get you through the day, and I don't think it's going to happen. I think TJ Watt's going to have a giant day, and the Steelers win. Okay? Lions-Cowboys. In America's Game of the Week. And I'm going to be very honest with you. Cowboys still can't run the ball. So I'm going to go with the Lions because I know the Lions can run the ball, and they're going to play smash-mouth football. I think Gibbs and Montgomery is going to be a big part of the offense. J-Mo, Amon-Ra, Laporta. Laporta should be a very big part of the offense because if J-Mo and Amon-Ra are going to get covered by Trayvon Diggs and Lewis, because Bland's not there, and Lewis, then, or Wilson, then I think Laporta can get off. But I'm going to go with the Lions here. MCDC, I like the whole band. They're 3-1. They're leading the NFC, the NFC North right now. And I just don't see how Dallas can do something against this defensive front with Aiden Hutchinson, the linebacking core, which is pretty good, and then the back end, who has played pretty well this season. So I'm going to go Lions. On the road, in Jerry World, I'm going to go Lions. Damn, I haven't been writing these down. Shit. All right, let me go back. Let's see. I picked the Texans. And I picked the Ravens. And I picked the Eagles. And I picked the Packers. And then I picked the Bucks. And then I picked the Steelers, which are my lock of the week, against the Raiders. Okay. And then we went to Lions. All right, we're caught up. Falcons-Panthers. We're going Falcons here, guys. Even though it's on the road, we're going Kirk Cousins. Drake London and Kirk Cousins have found it. Bijan better run the ball because they better give him the ball. Kyle Pitts seems to have to open something up, just a little bit. Open something up, maybe, just maybe. And then Darnell Mooney seems like he's the number one of this offense. Whenever Kirk needs something, he's going to number one. I like this Falcons defense versus this Panthers offense. So I'm going Falcons on the road. Okay. Also might be one of my locks of the week right there. Falcons over the Panthers. Bengals, Giants. All right. First of all, is Malik Neighbors going to play? That's the first thing I want to know. Is Malik Neighbors going to play from the concussion. Nick Neighbors was a non-participant at Thursday's practice. He ain't playing. If you're not participating on Thursday, you ain't playing. Okay, so Bengals, Giants in New York. Now, this is going to come down to one to two things. Can Joe Burrow outduel the defensive line of the Giants? Because if the Giants are going to win this game, it's going to be behind the strength of their defensive line. Sexy Dexy, Kayvon Thibodeau, and Brian Burns. Okay? The offense has to get past the Cincinnati defensive line, which has not been good because of what the Ravens did to him last week. But if we're looking at just quarterback against quarterback and player against player, I expect Jamar Chase to have a big game. I expect T. Higgins to have a big game and Joe Burrow to have a big game. We're going Cincinnati in New York to go to 2-4 and try to right the ship. Because if they lose this, it's pretty much over. You could send the cows home. Okay? And then Monday we have Bills Jets. Bills coming off a bad loss to the Texans. And the Jets coming off a bad loss to the Vikings. Jets with reinvigorated and rejuvenated energy. From, Ulbrich, new coaching. They have a new play caller in Robert Downing. Or not Robert. His name is Downing. And so it's not Nathaniel Hackett. So are they going to do something with that? Absolutely not. Buffalo's going to destroy the Jets. Now, the Jets' defense is really good, but I think the Buffalo, nothing, you can't really defend against Josh Allen. The only thing that we got to see is Khalil Shakir playing, because if he is, then it's more in the favor of, he didn't practice Thursday, so it's a Monday night game, so I'll hold out, but I'm still going Bills over the Jets. 54.9% the predictor says that it's the Bills game. So I'm going to go Bills. Matt Collins is questionable. James Cook is questionable. Khalil Shakir, he's expected to be back Monday. Curtis Samuel. CJ Mosley questionable. Morgan Moses, Michael Carter, and Tyler Conklin. Everybody is expected to be back by Monday. Todd Downing takes over for the Jets play calling. I'm going to go Buffalo. Okay? I'm going to go Buffalo because I just don't trust this Jets team, man. I really don't. There's nothing in my being that tells me that Buffalo can right the ship in 1 week with a new coach, an interim head coach, and a new offensive coordinator. Okay? I know that Aaron threw to Garrett Wilson a record amount of times last week, and maybe that's the opening. But they can't run the ball, and they won't give the ball to Breece Hall. Maybe this guy does give the ball to Breece Hall. You know what? Your best player on offense, but maybe he doesn't, and this Bills defense can stop the run to an extent. So I'm going to go Buffalo. And with that, ends episode 146 of the Exec Talk Podcast. Thank you so much for joining me. I love you guys. God bless you. Enjoy the football. Enjoy the NASCAR. Enjoy the baseball and basketball, because John Morant looks good. Damian Lillard looks good. Boy, do the Knicks look good. They're saying that AD and LeBron are rejuvenized. But we'll wait till October 22nd to make any real declarations about what's going to happen this season. I love you guys. God bless you. And I leave you all with the outro.
El exec